I'm recording this in the summer of 2021. A lot of people are rage quitting their jobs because over the last year they've come to expect various working conditions. I thought I'd like to talk about a compilation of times where I've kind of rage quit my job. I don't shout obscenities, but I did quit in a hurry and for reasons that were a little bit more personal than professional. One of my biggest biggest pet peeves is, believe it or not, I can handle bully bosses a lot better than this kind of boss. A boss who gets too personal with your situation and almost wants to be too close of a friend to the point where you're not business anymore. I can handle bully bosses a little bit better. I don't like either, don't get me wrong. But bully bosses, at least you know what they're up to, right? They're trying to squeeze work out of you. But people who are too close to you, you just can't deal with them. Anyways, especially people who see me almost like an extended family member, right? I'm Taiwanese, but a lot of Asians love to treat each other almost like extended family members. It just becomes impossible to deal with. They think they know what you want more than you think what you know what you want. That's a big problem. I was working at a tutoring center 2 years ago, just before the outbreak, and one day I had drove home from Ellensburg from some event, and I had a tutoring session at the center at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And I got back to town at 1:30, 1:40. Now the center has this counter where you can put your computer on the counter. I was checking some emails. I wanted to stand for at least 10-15 minutes to stretch a little bit because I had been sitting in my car for 5 hours the previous day, right? The way out to Ellensburg, the way back. I was viewing something in the night skies. I wasn't getting a lot of physical activity, and I wanted to stand for 10, 15, 20 minutes. I had a tutoring session that was going to last 2 hours after that, and my boss just said, "Oh, you can have a seat over there." Now, I got to point out, the place I was standing at, it had a counter about this high. I could put my computer on there. I wasn't in anybody's way. I didn't look out of place at all. This is a counter where people stand and fill out paperwork. It wasn't out of place at all. If it were out of place, I could see where he's coming from. It wasn't. He said it. I kind of ignored him. I waved to him and said hello, and I kind of ignored him to let him know that basically not a problem. And he persisted, and he looked at the chair that he wanted me to sit in. I very reluctantly sat down, but I was upset. Didn't really show it. I really loved working with the student, and I was torn. Now, later that week, I happened to have an interview at another tutoring center, and the two of them were non-compete. I couldn't work at both of them. And that taking a seat issue kind of just pushed me over the edge, and I quit. I mean, I didn't quit in an ugly way or anything, but I let one event push me over the edge. I don't know if that qualifies as a rage quit. So that was the only job that I rage quit. But I've rage quit on tutoring clients before that I do privately outside of tutoring centers. I had one client who drove me over the edge over cancellation policy. So usually I tell the students that they have 24 hours before the session to cancel. It really depends on time of the year. If it's a really important time of the year, it might be more than 24, right? But I'll let the students know. Now, one of my clients became really clever with the policy. He never used the word cancel. He needed to change something, or he had a dramatic reason why he wanted to cancel, right? He had a very sick elderly family member. He had a once-in-a-lifetime, some kind of opportunity or something like that. Anyways, he had all sorts of clever dressing up of cancellation. Now, one time, he had texted me to change something from, I can't remember what it was. Oh, I remember now. I was working at a tutoring center as well. It was a Saturday. I was working from 10 to 2 o'clock on Saturday morning, and he had initially booked something from 2:30 to 3:30 to give me time to drive to his place. And that would be perfect for me. I would much prefer my work be consecutive like that. But now that morning he texted me wanting to change it to 7 p.m. that night. And I called him. No, he texted me to call him because he was clever not to put it in writing. That's the kind of cleverness he had. He texted me asking me to call him because something interesting had come up. I called him, and he proceeded to tell me this dramatic event that was going to happen at 3 o'clock, and could we reschedule for 7? And I reluctantly told him okay. Now, I made the mistake of leaving my phone in my car, and I went to I can't remember where I went. Some kind of board game club, or so. It was a Saturday. I left my phone in the car, so I didn't see until 6:30. I was just about to drive to his place that he had texted me at like 5 o'clock, saying that he needed to reschedule for the next day because some more dramatic events. And I said, well, I think you need to pay for this because, like I said, we have a 24-hour policy. And he calls me. Again, he's very clever not to put it in right. He calls me and says, no, I don't have to pay for you. I told you this morning I would let you know before 7. First of all, I don't think he'd let me know. I mean, yes, I may have remembered incorrectly. But even then, even if he had told me he would let me know before 7, that doesn't make sense at all, right? Who's going to sit around all day for a potential 1-hour appointment? Whatever the case is, I rage quit on him. I might have shouted some obscenities over the phone that time because I was really upset. That might be the only time that I shouted obscenities during a rage quit. I don't remember if I did. I had another client who was also Asian. The client that canceled and changed schedules wasn't Asian. He was a typical all-American college student, actually. College students are the worst. They at least when you have a high school student, you're dealing with their parents. At least you can put some good sense in the closeness of your working relationship with the kid. Right? College students, they just love to push rules. They think that even though it might be a beautiful tutoring relationship, that they could find somebody else and have that same kind of relationship, right? Okay, so the other client that I rage quit on, this was a middle school going into high school kid, a boy. I was dealing with his mother. They're both Asian. Now, the mother had haggled the price with me a little bit, and I had the impression that maybe money was tight, but that the kid was very well focused and it would be worth my while. That's the impression I got. Now, his mother had mentioned a couple times, not even just one time, that she could help me hook up with a girlfriend. I was single at the time. This was, how many years ago was this? This was 5 years ago. I had just broken up with my girlfriend. It was kind of like a rage quit as well. She had accused me of cheating on her because I was busy writing some computer games, and I stormed out of her home in a rage, right? So that's the equivalent of a rage quit. And I got too close to my clients, and I told the kid's mother about that. We were making small talk after a tutoring session one time. I told her all about the rage breakup that I had. And I was actually happy that the relationship was over and I was enjoying my single life, but she insisted that she could hook me up with a girl. I think she felt she had haggled the price a little bit too hard, and so she wanted to make up for that. Now, that was pretty upsetting to hear. I'm enjoying my single life. That's not what I want, right? She was trying to make up for the low pay with that. Now, the final straw came when later that year, I had been working with them for half a year by this point, and I was hoping to get them over the summer, but now they wanted to go away on vacation. And as if that wasn't bad enough, they were going to my favorite place on earth, the whole family, and they had to haggle the price for the tutoring. And then they want to make up for it by hooking me up with a girl, which is not what I want. How about you pay me so I can go out and enjoy my single life? And I rage quit on them in my mind. I made it look pretty by saying, I'm just busy after you guys return. I'm just busy. I wasn't. I rage quit already. But they didn't know that. Anyways, have you ever rage quit a job, and why, and what happened afterwards?